I'm going to pop over and make sure I can see all of y'all's comments as well. So thanks for being on the show, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You're going to drop so many knowledge bombs on these people.
I think so.
It's going to be epic.
Yeah.
So I want to say how we met. We met at the Internet Marketing Party. And I had never heard of The Attractive Man, but it's a really cool business. Like, what y'all do is really needed and really cool. And it works. I think it works. Your coach, one of your coaches, he really got my attention when he first started talking to me. And I was just like, who is this person? Like, I need to know more about him because he acts differently. He's definitely communicates in a different way. And he has the killer confidence to just start talking to a woman. So.
Yeah, he's got that charm. That he has that charisma for sure. But he wasn't always that way. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you do and like a little bit more of what The Attractive Man is.
So what we do is we essentially help men with women in dating. So the way I like to explain it is there was a movie back in the day, Hitch, with Will Smith. And I don't know if you remember. Do you remember that movie? Hitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember how he was called like the date doctor or the dating doctor. He was helping men with women. So essentially that's what we do. We help men meet women in everyday situations, which kind of sucks right now because, you can't really, meet women in everyday situations. But what we do is we do workshops. We've done workshops in over 40 countries.
Wow.
Our coaches travel around and we've been doing this for a while. I joined my business partner about 7 years ago. And my role is, I'm not a coach. I handle all the business and marketing side of the organization. And, what we do is we help men with confidence and just social skills and meeting women. So it's definitely a fun business. It's not your ordinary like day job.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's fun, and then for me, there's like a personal, I personally like enjoy what we do and have a lot of respect for what we do just for my own journey, growing up as a man. So and then we have a rock star team of coaches too that just they all have just different personalities, but they all bring different modalities and skill sets to the table. So collectively, all of our coaches are just I like to think of it as like the Avengers, like when they come together and then boom, like
love it.
We're unstoppable.
So your coaches, they essentially help men kind of learn the skills and the tools to just approach women in public, like at a zoo or a park or a coffee shop or something.
Yeah, I don't know how often guys are at the zoo, but I mean, definitely at the zoo. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of women at the zoo. But yeah, so we essentially help men meet women in public. So, for example, if we're sitting in a coffee shop and there's an attractive woman over there that you want to meet, like how does the guy go up there and talk to her? So we actually, our boot camps like walk guys through that scenario. And the main thing is that I've noticed is that over the years we've kind of lost that skill set as men. We've lost that ability mainly because think about it this way. So like 20 years ago, our dads, our fathers, our uncles, our grandfathers, they didn't have Tinder or online dating. They couldn't just swipe right and meet someone. They had to grow the balls to go over there and talk to her or like talk to that woman. And so we've a lot of guys have lost that skill set because they don't really have to do that anymore, right? So, but I still think it's a really important part of men's journey to go up there. And I think I think every man should. I think a man should take the first move. And so just having that ability, I think, is really important.
Yeah. It's interesting. This takes me back to when I was a Gold's Fit coach, and they gave me a Gold's Fit. So it's like CrossFit, but Gold's Gym version.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So they gave me my class, but it was like 4:30 p.m. And so I had to build it from scratch. And so they would tell me, okay, go interrupt people on the cardio equipment and be like, you need to come take my class. So I had to learn how to cold approach people. I guess, I don't know if it's warm if they're already in the gym, but like I had to learn how can I just go out to people and be friendly and nice and and I would get people in my class that way. And so,
nice.
But I do think about how there are times in public I've seen a guy and I've like felt that attraction, or like I've been like, man, I think we'd have chemistry. But I mean, I'm too shy to say anything. And then he doesn't say anything. And it's like, well, damn, I might never see him again. Like, if he would have just like said hi or like said something about my shoes, or I don't know, we could have, who knows what could have happened.
Exactly.
So I think that's very powerful.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that happens so many guys, so many times, even for me in the past. Like I've seen a woman that like, oh, I want to talk to this woman. And yeah, I mean, most guys chicken out. So, and it's not just, and a lot of people think about what we do and they think, oh, you guys help like the weird dorks that have like no social skills whatsoever, when in reality, a lot of our students are just normal dudes. They're just normal guys. And our ideal client are the guys that, you know, they're over 30. They have, you know, have their shit together. They have a good career. A lot of them are often like business owners, good looking. I mean, some of them are, you know, have their stuff together. They just need that extra like push and extra nudge, and they haven't really worked on that area of their life before. Some of them are like, some of them are pretty wealthy. Some of them are like, you think the man is, how is this guy like? This guy's like a supermodel. Like, what is he doing in here?
Yeah.
And but yeah, you never know. Like sometimes even I've seen situations where like you think the guys that have it all, like they're tall, they're athletic, they're good looking, where they're actually the guys that are used to women approaching them. They're actually, when it comes to them approaching women, they're like terrified. They're like the worst. And then you have the short dudes who like who, you know, like I have a friend, he's you know, he's bald and like 5'1", and this guy is like, he will approach just like, he has no shame, but he has to be the way, because if not, he can't depend on women approaching him. He has to go there and assert himself into the situation. I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah.
Well, it's just powerful work. And yeah, like you only have, sometimes you meet someone in public and you only have literally 10 seconds to say something. And if you don't have that ability, like the opportunity's gone. And that happens, I mean, that translates into life as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm sure these men they don't just experience the benefit in the relationships, but also in the boardroom, you know, also in their health, you know, having that ability to take action quickly is really powerful.
Yeah. And our boot camps are intense. Yeah. I mean, some guys like, I mean, we're there to guide guys along, but some guys, you know, they could be intense. Like, you know, depending on the coach, like they're really hard on you and they push you. And it's like, you know, if you're hesitating, you just can't hesitate. It's like, I mean, what do they say? If you hesitate, you masturbate. So you got to take action.
That took me half a second. Wait, so what are your boot camps like? What does that look like?
Oh man. Okay. So, so we have 3-day, we have 7-day boot camps. Essentially what our boot camps are comprised of is, so we take guys, so they're small. We take guys out so we get a group of guys, but we'll have like 5 people in the boot camp per coach, and we'll take them to a public area.
Intimate.
Yeah, it's very intimate. It's very small. And so we take them to a place like a mall or a bar or a shopping area or to a busy street. And we're showing them step by step, like, okay, if you see an attractive woman, here's how you go and talk to her. So in our 3 days, that's what we basically cover, is like how to meet women in daytime situations, in, you know, everyday situations at the grocery store, stuff like that. So we're walking them through like the step by step, like how to go and talk to her and how to, you know, create something from that, get her number, you know, get a date and stuff like that. On our 7 days, those are a little bit more intense. With those, we do a lot of inner work as well. We're bringing some female models where guys can role play, but at the same time, some of our advanced instructors, they'll do things like releasing some sexual shame, like exercises of releasing, and then, you know, creating a lot of, you know, basically in a safe place, helping guys to stir up their emotions and their insecurities so they can like release those, like, you know, those limiting beliefs and those like inner demons that they have. And then like in the 7 days too, we have comfort challenges where the guys are just pushed out of their comfort zone. Every day there's a different comfort challenge. And so it's guys get a lot of growth out of it, a lot of big shifts, and it's fun to be a part of, and it's fun to see the students go through them too, because Yeah.
Yeah, I bet they come out different people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
So that's my favorite part. That's one of my favorite parts about my job is coaching people from the moment they sign up, or like even coaching them through the sale to invest in themselves in our NLP trainings, and then coaching them 3 to 6 months up until the training, and then seeing how much they transform after those 7 days. And then what they accomplish after that using the tools. It's so fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are some of your biggest lessons that you've learned through being the CEO of this interesting company?
I'll point out a few that I think I see a lot of people making. So I handle the marketing side of the business for the most part, and so I handle the marketing, and my business partner handles the products and the coaching side. So being a marketer and being in the world of like internet marketing, we tended to skew on the side of, let's come up with like, what's this new funnel that we have to come out with, or what's this new, like, how do we create scarcity on this, or how do we like create like this social proof around this offer, and like all these different marketing tricks, right? These, like, even on YouTube, when we're on YouTube, like, okay, what's the thumbnail, the title, and stuff like that. Like, how do we get them like to stay till the end? And then basically was listening to Alex Hormozy, who runs like a $50 million a year business, and seeing how he does it, and we started making this shift. And the shift is to actually just, if you just focus on like being the best in the industry, like the best, to have the best product, essentially focus on that, then the marketing is like 10 times easier. And it really is, because then you have more testimonials, and it just creates this loop of students are seeing success, and then you have more people buying into the program. But not only that, their belief is stronger because they see other people having success, and it just kind of perpetuates itself, right? Like they see other people's having success, and they have success. So we've been really doubling down on that, and because of that, we've kind of shifted towards like I said, like this team approach, where it's not just one person. Before it was mainly just one guy who's the face of the company. And now we're shifting towards a more of like an Avengers approach. Like, all right, here's our team of coaches, and they're badasses. Like, all of them like individually are great. Together, it's just a powerhouse, like literally unstoppable. So that's what we've been working on, just constantly just tweaking and developing our programs, and really focusing on like a core curriculum. So that's just like guys go through this program and they get results, and just tweaking and honing and fixing and like dialing that in as much as possible, so that we can help students just get the best results in the quickest amount of time. And with that, it creates its own marketing funnel. So yeah, that was one big shift that it may seem obvious, but I think at the end of the day, we try to, like, for me anyways, like I was always thinking of like, hey, what's the cool marketing trick and technique to really do? How do we like show ourselves that we're different, instead of just like, how do we just be like focus on like being the best possible out there?
Yeah. Taylor wrote, "Teamwork makes the dream work." Taylor has she has like 4 businesses, but she has Lively Event Co. So she's great.
Oh, nice.
So did y'all niche down in that process? Did you target one kind of specific man?
Kind of. Well, yeah, we did niche down in that process. However, right now, because of the coronavirus and how we shifted down into, okay, what's our core thing? And that's helping men meet women in everyday life. And it's also like building the confidence to do that. So a lot of the main struggle with that is the guys struggle with is it's what we call approach anxiety. So they get anxious, the thought of like going and approaching a stranger. And with that, with the approach anxiety, it's not just an easy fix, right? And so none of our coaches are therapists, so to speak, but we work with students that, I mean, at the end of the day, like almost what we do is, it's like therapy. So it's pretty much therapy. Like the different modalities, all the coaches have different modalities of what they're doing. So that's what we really focus on, like helping them with their confidence, helping them with their their self-image and self-esteem, and just facing that fear and just moving through that. So at the end of the day, that's what we're really doing, and we can do that in any different. Ideally, we could do that in any different scenario. It's just in this scenario, it's meeting women, and because meeting women is easy once you're confident in yourself. And I mean, it's because it's not about like knowing a trick or anything like that too. So it also applies, that what we just discussed earlier also applies to dating. So some guys and other companies too, like they would focus on like, okay, what's the for guys, like, okay, like guys will go out there and they'll just try to like, they'll do all the marketing tricks, right? They're like, oh, I want to have the best Instagram pictures and all the coolest photos, and just like, and try to build up this like idea of themselves instead of just like this image of like being the best damn man they can be. They just be the best man they can be and just own that, and then love themselves. Then that's the core thing. So that's the core thing that they translate. It's pretty much the same thing, business, and then for the guys. So we want them to build a solid foundation of confidence and being more grounded. And then with that, then it's meeting women is easy. They don't need a line. It's just natural. It's like you just go talk to her, because you want to.
And y'all definitely like walk the walk. Like I thought you were a coach because you were very great at communicating, and I liked how you're more like chill and suave, and Brian's more like outgoing and like let's talk. But I feel like a lot of it's that energy of not having an expectation for the interaction, like letting go of any result and just being in the moment and like talking to people like they're just people.
Right. That's a big part of it. Letting go. That's one of the, like, just letting go of those expectations, letting go of self-doubt.
And just being real. Like what I like about you is like, you don't put up a front, you act like yourself. And like, I'm a little bit more introverted than extroverted. So sometimes in public, I'm not very like showy and like big. Sometimes I'm just like a little more muted, observing. And like, I really appreciate when other people are like that too. And they're not trying to put up a front like, oh, I'm in public, I have to be like the life of the party.
Yeah.
Very genuine.
And I'm not the life of the party guy. That's not my thing.
I'm sure you are. There's just a different way. You have a different way about it.
Yeah, I think I think you're right about that. Yeah, it is a little bit different.
It's a different kind of leadership. Cool. So do you want to tell us, I'm sure people are wondering about the whole 800,000 subscribers on YouTube, right?
800,000. 500 of those came in 1 year. But there's one. So you asked about marketing mistakes. I do want to share one that I think may just help people. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
That may just be a game changer. And it really comes down to just profit savings. So I think we made the mistake of not paying ourselves in the business first. Personally, when I pay like our salary, I would always allocate, okay, this, a certain percentage automatically goes to savings. But we weren't doing that in the business. And there's a book called Profit First, which kind of like, outlines that principle, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. I got a buddy, such a short guy I mentioned earlier, Ike, who runs a chain of sandwich restaurants. I think he has like 77 restaurants. So he's really wealthy. He's doing pretty well. Ike's Sandwiches. So they have a few in Austin. If you go there, get number 714. It's my sandwich, by the way.
Okay. I'll ask for the Aaron Nunez.
Yeah. And then, so he was telling me, because he's one of a really good friend, but also a mentor, because his mentors are billionaires, and so when we're talking money, I listen to whatever he says, and he was telling me what he does with his companies. It's not anything complicated, because he's not like a finance dude. He's just a creative guy, and he's super chill. So with each one of his restaurants, what he'll do is. Actually, he started out. So we had one restaurant. It was in San Francisco, and it was blowing up. And he was making a ton of money, maybe $10,000 a day in sales. And but at the end of the month, for a couple of years, he didn't have any savings. He never had any savings. So then he was just like, you know what? Like, let me just try this. He wanted to save up 100 grand. So he's like, let me just try every single day taking out like $100, right? And then he would take out $100 out of the cash register, just like, like, let me look at the profit statement and see how much I could take out. Just like, let me just take out $100 and put it in a, it was actually, I think, a cigar box. And let me put it in a cigar box. And he started doing that. And then he started taking out more. And I think he was at some point taking out like 1,000 a day or something like that. And then before he knew it, he had 100 grand saved up, and nothing in the business changed. Like, nothing in the business changed. Like, it's not like he had, like, sales didn't increase or whatever. He just had more money saved up on the side.
Wow.
And it was just the idea of that, like, you just want to pay yourself first and do it regularly so it doesn't necessarily rattle the business. Instead of like once a month just taking out like 10 grand, like every single week. Well, the way we do it is weekly. We'll just, every single week, let's just take, money out of our operating expense account and just move it to the profit savings. And then we're just looking at, okay, how much money do we need in our operating expenses? And this is what he does. He looks like, okay, this is how much money I need in the operating expense account. If it's a lot over that, then he'll just increase the daily or weekly amount that he transfers to the profit savings. And if it starts getting lower, and like, or hitting that threshold, then he'll just decrease it, right? And even if it's just like $20 or $10, it's just the idea of always sending money to pay yourself. If we'd started that when we first started the company, we would have a lot more savings than what we do now. So, anyways, just want to throw that out there because it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, yeah, it's such a valid point. I mean, when I first started my business, it was like, oh, sweet, got a new client. Let's get a new logo. Let's put this back into my website. Let's upgrade this. Let's upgrade that. And I totally buried my head in the sand when it came to my finances, and it wasn't good. So it's a very, very valid point.
Yeah. And the idea too is that if you have, because we would just have like a bunch of money in our operating expense account, just like a ton of money, more than we needed. And, but then it came to like making the decision, should we hire this consultant or not? So we'd be like, well, we have the money, let's just do it, right? As opposed to the money is stashed in another account. And so it's just, now we're more aware of our money. And that being said, there's another principle too that like a lot of people just aren't aware of. So typical business will make like 10 to 15% profit, right? So before we used to spend a lot of money, just like, okay, we have money in the bank account. Let me hire this consultant, $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, whatever. Even we paid more than that for consultants, but really what you got to look at, or just normal random expenses, what you got to look at is because we were looking at it from before, we were looking at it as if, okay, let's say I invest in $5,000 in this consultant. That means I only have to make a few sales. I want to make 5,000 worth of sales. So, or sell 1 7-day, which is $5,000, right? If we do that, then we make our money back, which is not really right. You really got to look at the numbers and be like, okay, if I'm only making 10% profit at the end of the year in this company, then that means I have to make 10 times. Then I have to sell 10 times that amount. So if that 5,000 expense, I have to sell 50,000 to break even, to make my money back from that. So just thinking about it that way helps us, has allowed me just to make decisions better as far as, okay, what do we really need?
Right.
And is this going to bring us back like 10 times, more than 10 times what we're asking for?
Yeah, and also just being really critical, like, is this investment going to bring a return? And tracking that, like, okay, that networking event maybe wasn't worth the money it cost to show up or something.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let me check. So we did get a question. Preston asked, what got your guests into this line of work? So we kind of addressed that, but like, how did you meet your partner, and like, what made you want to work with him?
Well, so I've been knowing about this industry and like the dating coaching industry I guess when I was 18. When I was 18, I read the book The Game, which a lot of guys can probably relate to that. So I was familiar with it, but so I was doing marketing at the time when I met my business partner. I met him at a men's leadership seminar in California. So it was a 9-day retreat in the middle of nowhere, on a ranch in the middle of nowhere in California, and there were only men on this ranch. There were like 69. There were exactly 69 guys. Just happened random number. That was exactly 69 guys on this ranch, and over the 9 days, they would just challenge us. And so it was a leadership seminar. So they would challenge us, like individually as a leader, how we were showing, but as a leader, as a small group, and then as a like big 69. Like how can we lead all 69 guys? And they would just push us in a little sleep. Some guys were like breaking down. Some guys wanted to leave. Some guys wanted to fight. They would challenge us like spiritually, emotionally, like physically. We were doing hard work. And so that's where I met him. And that's where I got my first interaction with him and saw him. That's where I met Ike too, the guy who owns all the sandwich restaurants. So I met him there, and I saw a few things from him. I was like, okay, this guy, he's got, I can respect this guy. And I saw what he was doing. I knew what he was doing. And at the time, we just started working together a little bit. As far as I was doing a little bit of marketing stuff for him, and then at some point, we both came to the conclusion, like, hey, what if we just partnered up together? Like, he takes care of products and and coaching, and I take care of marketing. And we came to the realization, because we learned that, most companies, a lot of successful companies, they usually have a duo. It's like Apple, they have Wozniak and Steve Jobs. Wozniak was doing products, Steve Jobs was doing marketing. And then a lot of other companies, they'll do that so that one person can focus on, because it's hard to focus on both at the same time. It's hard to focus on, if you're trying to be the best coach and also be the best marketer and like business person.
Marketing is a beast.
Yeah, it's hard to do both, right? It's hard to be great at both. So the idea is, like, if you really want to be great and like have a great company, then all right, have someone who's like really great at the product side of things, and then have someone who's really great at the market side of things. So
cool. And where did you get your marketing education?
It's just self-taught. I studied finance in college, and junior year, I went up to my marketing professor because I loved his class, and I was like, hey, I wish I had studied marketing in school. Not that I was really good at finance. I'm good with numbers, but I just love the creative side of marketing. It was just very fulfilling. And I told him that, and he looked at me. He's like, man, you don't need a degree in marketing to do marketing. You can just go learn that on your own. Like, it's all theory anyways here in school. So,
but what kind of like courses and stuff did you do, or what did you focus on first learning?
Oh man.
Like copy.
Yeah, it was copy.
Funnels, digital stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely copy. It was definitely copy, and the copy has helped me. Even though I don't write hardly any of the copy nowadays in the company. But yeah, I learned so much from copywriting, and it's fun. I wrote another sales page just like a week ago. And it was very fulfilling. But yeah, it was copy, and just learning from just some of the big guys like John Benson, and just a bunch of books and stuff. And I think copy is an important skill. And then I'm trying to think if there's like one book that I would read if I was to start over, like there are a few good books that I have, but copy was good, and just reading and mentoring and just taking courses. And we bought so many products from all these marketing gurus. Yeah.
Was there any that stood out, like, to be very transformative for you?
From a marketing perspective?
Yeah, any like courses or like mentors?
I've learned a lot from Ryan Dice and his company, and Perry Belcher, digital marketer, those guys, a lot, especially when it comes to like funnels. Well, especially when it comes to funnels. However, with them, that's where I got a lot into the marketing techniques. Just like, you need the right funnel, it needs to do this, and the tactics. And at the end of the day, just focus on being the best out there. And then, because I think a lot of the tactics used to work too, because back in the day, you could, like on Google, they didn't have strict regulations. You could make
Mhm.
all these outlandish claims and you didn't have to back them up, and you could just kind of sell whatever. You could just like say, oh, I'm gonna all the get rich quick schemes, right? Like I'm gonna get you a date with a supermodel in a day, right? Or whatever. Like you could just say all these things, you didn't have to back it up. But
Yeah.
now,
There's less competition.
what's that?
There's less competition as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, probably that too. And then, but now I think good people are just smarter in general. And then Google also doesn't let you do that kind of stuff. And so, if you want to start a real company, I think then you start with the foundation of let's just create the best program out there. But then that doesn't mean don't sell it. You still want to
No,
sell
you
it.
have to sell. Well, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people get lost because they hear like from different people, oh, I need to have a Facebook page, I need to have LinkedIn, I have to have a YouTube channel, I need to be doing all these things, and then they get caught up in the whirlpool, and then they forget, well, let's just get out there and sell. Like if you have a good solid program, develop yourself, but also sell face to face, and you can always reinvest that into like people to help you keep up with all the channels. But I think a lot of people compare themselves, in my perspective, to like solid companies that have whole teams running all their channels. Like I help look over 15 different channels, and we have multiple people that contribute. So people don't realize like, oh, they have a whole team of people,
Right.
creating all of this content.
Yeah. Yeah, and that being said, you're right. Like, and if you are like by yourself, I would say definitely focus on one channel first and just nail that channel. And that's what we did with YouTube for the longest time. It was like, all right, this is gonna be our channel, and we just dove in, and and then we dominated.
Tell us about it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, yeah, YouTube. So I've always kind of had like been drawn to YouTube. So yeah, I kind of I led the YouTube strategy. So we were thinking about, okay, what can we do to get leads? What's how do we expand the business? What can we do to really make a name for ourselves? I saw a couple other guys in the industry that were doing really well on YouTube, and they were more they were more like pick-up-y. And I was like, well, we can do this stuff. We can get on YouTube. And I know the YouTube, the basics of YouTube. So we just doubled down on YouTube. And we were just like, all right, this is gonna be our one focus. And I think there's power in that when you just put your whole team and energy on like, all right, this is our focus right now. This is what we're gonna crush. And yeah, over that year we gained, it was like 480,000 subscribers in 1 year. Maybe it was like 11 months too. And then I kind of left the helm of that, and it's kind of like this growth is slowed. So we're gonna pick that back up again. But yeah, so we just doubled down on that, and it was just based on a few principles. Like YouTube's not complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Once people can go look up like the YouTube algorithm like many places, but really what it comes down to is, again, what I said before is really what it comes down to is the main thing is create great content. Create the best damn content you can. If you're like, people want to hear you speak, they're gonna go watch you, and they're gonna keep watching your videos.
Yeah.
Right. So create good content, and then but the way we created like viral videos, so to speak, because we were able to reach a lot of people, and it was simply what I was doing is I was finding topics that were already proven to go viral or to be popular. So I would just search the web. And this is a pretty common thing. Is people just don't really apply it very well or implement it very well. And so you basically just find, okay, so in the realm of dating, what other, so for example, I go to Reddit, the dating Reddit, see what topics are really popular. I would see something like, oh, conversation starters, or approach anxiety, whatever the topic was, or like texting, how to get a girl to text you back, something, whatever it is. And I would see, oh, this is the angle that they're taking. Why do they like this? Why is this article so popular or this video so popular? Just look at it, watch it. And then we would just go and make it better, and it was just pretty simple. Like that's what we would do. We just find, okay, what is something that's already popular that we know people want to watch? And it comes down to like marketing basics. So before you really like create the product, you want to test it out to make sure, you want to validate it to make sure it sells, right? So a lot of things that we do, like right now in coronavirus, we've had to we've had to not close down our offer, but we're not really selling our main offer anymore, and we're coming up with two different ones, and we're selling them before we even have the product or service. So with YouTube, it's kind of the same principle. It's like, okay, what's already working out there, and then how do we make it better? And that's really just doing that. This is like how we grew the channel. But like my copy skills did, a couple of other things with that. My copy skills did come in handy. One, because like the title is really important. The titles that you choose for the video is really important, and then the thumbnails also really important. And then another thing too is when we were writing the video or creating the video, when it comes to good content. So my business partner would come up with would write the script or whatever, and I would insert the copy, so to speak, or I would just structure it in a way like, okay, this is how we should lead, and this is how you hook them, and this is how we just make them basically organize this information to keep them engaged, because that's important on YouTube. You want them to watch the entire video or a lot of the video. And yeah, so the way we like to see it is you want to think of your YouTube video as almost like an infomercial, like a commercial with a lot of valuable content. Like, it's supposed to be very engaging. It's supposed to hook them. Like, no, don't make it boring. Like, keep it very engaging the entire time. And that's where my copy skills really come to play. I remember I wrote an ad, and it was an ad, and also it had a lot of good value and a lot of good tips in there. So I wrote an ad. It didn't work out as an ad, or I mean, it just wasn't very profitable. But then we just published it to our YouTube channel, and it was one of the most popular videos out there. But it was because of the structure that I had. I wrote it as like a video ad. Like, and just the same video elements. Like, you hook them in the beginning, like sell them on what you're going to tell them. Yeah. And then just like make all those points just like really engaging, and close very strong. And yeah, it was just, it did really well. It did really well. The only challenge we've come across is that when we have our coaches create videos, since they don't know copy,
and the format, yeah.
Yeah, so we've had to like, but they're getting better. And yeah, that's the only thing that we've it's a bit of a challenge to duplicate that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a format neurologically. There's a format to keep people engaged, and I actually have it on my wall because I'm studying it for my trainer's training. But it's explaining the why, which a lot of people don't ever do, is explain, like, why should this person listen to what you're about to say? And then what about it? How does it work? And then what if? So you can talk about the possibilities of it later. And that's more of like in a training context or a workshop or a learning environment. But I mean, I think it applies to anytime you want people to listen.
Say it again. It was why?
It's saying the why. It's like 35%, and that's the interaction, you motivate. And then the second step is the what about it. So that's the information part. That's 22% is the information. It's teaching them. Students are listening, taking notes. And then 18% is the how does it work, is the coaching. It's the interactive portion. And then the 25% is the what if after that. So that's the self-discovery. But that's the training format for like teaching and doing workshops. And I apply it to whenever I speak as well. But obviously things like knowing copy and knowing keywords and hooks and saying things that are interesting and engaging to your audience is also very important.
Yeah. What was that last one? What if? The self-discovery? Expand on that.
Yeah.
What do you mean
so that's like the evaluation, predicting. So it's like, what would happen if you use this in your life? Like getting people to think about like what the process would be if they utilize the information they just learned, and kind of start creating that new neurology to support what they just learned.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah, that's it's very useful too when you're selling stuff as well.
Yeah, and they they found like a lot of students when they're in school and things, they don't learn partly because a lot of them don't have the why.
Yeah.
They don't know why they're learning this or how to apply it, or sometimes it's because they're more kinesthetic or they're more visual, and those representational systems aren't being tapped into, and they're learning.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get that. Yeah. Yeah, students don't know the why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to see what other questions I have for you. I'm going to see if we have any other questions for now. So if you're watching live, let us know what you want to ask Aaron. Specifically on the YouTube subscriber thing. So doubling down, what did that look like for y'all? Did that mean investing in more, quality cameras and equipment? Did that mean posting more frequently? Besides just manipulating or changing the copy and the topics?
It was I mean, we did a lot of.
Did you do like a whole overhaul?
Pretty much. But it was mainly just focusing on YouTube, and we tried a bunch of things. And like we tried a bunch of things to see what worked and what didn't work. Mm-hmm. But it was, I knew the fundamentals. And you just got to stick. When it comes down to anything, it's just the fundamentals. I also had a background in Toastmasters. For years, I did Toastmasters for 3 years. I haven't done it in forever, but so I've developed a lot of the bad habits in public speaking. But I learned a lot in Toastmasters that helped in YouTube, and just giving presentations and hooking the audience. So it's just the fundamentals. But what it looked like for us is, we don't remember if we had a video editor at that time, but we got a video editor. We just tried everything. So essentially it was like there were times when I wrote scripts for like my business partner, or we would try other people writing scripts for him. We basically just put all of our resource and attention on YouTube, and it was just that process. I was like, okay, yeah, doubling down on, let's pump out more YouTube videos and higher content. And it was just more of like my focus, a lot of my time, instead of just doing other things, like paid traffic, whatever, which, in retrospect was, there are other things I could have been doing, but I was spending a lot of time on the research. Like, okay, let's see what other videos are out there, and let's see what we can find, and see what topics we can create. That was my main role. My role is, okay, what topics are really going to do well, and then how do we present them? Like, how do we angle them? Like, what's that unique angle? So that's all my, like, that's the value I brought to the table. So I would just like, okay, here's a topic, here's a unique angle. All right, go create this script. And a lot of times when our contributors would go create that script, like, it wasn't like certain it was going to get a lot of views and go viral, but it was just like, sometimes I could just tell, like, all right, go create this video. It's gonna be badass and people are gonna love it. And oftentimes they would. Like, it was just like, when you have the right angle, it works. So we tried a lot of things. We put an ad out to get more contributors for our channel. Because our coaches at the time, the 2 coaches that we had didn't want to be on YouTube. They were like, they just didn't care. So I was like, okay, well, let's just go find some other contributors and have them create some content. So we put out an ad. I got like 50 people that wanted to jump on our channel and be contributors, be coaches essentially, or be contributors. They weren't coaches. I tried a few out, and we did that model for a few months, but they came out with just average content. And I kind of noticed, and I was like, we just can't have average content. Like, I need people on there who are actual coaches, who are in there with the students, who are actually have really good experiences and really good feedback, and just experience, like, transformation. They know how to actually, like, help the students. So and then at that time I found another woman who was helping women, and I could just tell she knew what she was doing really well. And so I reached out to her and asked her if she wanted to jump on our channel. And so she was a contributor for a long time. And then, but then now she's not anymore. And now we're back to, okay, let's focus on our coaches and showcase them on our YouTube channel, and just really yeah, and like I said before, like if we focus on being the best out there in our coaching, and then it's going to show in like in our YouTube videos and stuff. We were in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing we did this year, we flew our coaches to Los Angeles to record some YouTube videos. So we actually held a boot camp in Vegas, and we all had all of our coaches there, which is really cool. All of our coaches in one boot camp. And it was just amazing. Like our students loved it. But we were in LA. And it was the first time all of our coaches were really there, and we were all creating YouTube videos, and just like the synergy was there, and all these ideas were popping up, and it wasn't just like normal YouTube videos. I remember we were sitting down in the hotel lobby. We're all just working. It was like 10 o'clock at night. It was like the first day we got to LA. We were planning the week, and Julian, one of our coaches, me, Matt, were there. And the two guys, or three random dudes, just walked through the hotel lobby. And then Julian, who just is loud and talks to everybody, he had to open the door from them or whatever, and he said something. Oh, actually what happened was one of the guys recognized Matt from YouTube. He's like, oh, this guy's on YouTube.
Nice.
And so we just go talk to them, or Julian goes to talk to them. Julian's also our sales director. He's a sales director, and he's an amazing coach. He goes and talks to the guys. And then he comes back, and then he says, hey, this guy is willing to jump on a YouTube video. He's willing to let us coach him, jump on a YouTube video, and where we can film everything. So
that's awesome.
And so what we did is the next day, it was Julian and David coaching this guy. So this guy was like, he wasn't a client of ours. He was just a student that had never really, he was single. He was, looking to meet a woman, but he never really approached a girl in his life, maybe just like a couple times. And so what we were thinking, okay, let's just take him out for 3 hours and see how far we can go. And it's just like random stuff like this, which is not just a typical YouTube video and like the standard stuff. It's like, no, let's go take the student out and coach this guy and see how far we go. So I was actually the cameraman who was filming these guys. And they took this student. And at the beginning, so first I let him approach approach a woman and see what he did, and he couldn't even get her to stop. She just kept on walking. And then our guys jumped in. Yeah, I know. And so then our guys jumped in there, and then we just, for over 3 hours, we just coached him and progressed, and basically just helped him out for 3 hours. And then at the end of the 3 hours, he got a date on the spot. So he approached a girl, and it was very and he was just doing what we were telling him. And then he took her to eat right then and there. He took her for ice cream, and it was just super cool. And it was just a random thing.
Cool.
It was just a random idea that Julian had. We were sitting in the lobby, and like it was just a cool idea. So in the 3 hours, we helped the guy from not knowing really anything to, he got a date, and just from approaching a cute girl. So.
That's incredible. That's awesome. So with COVID-19, like what have y'all done what programs are you still doing?
Yeah, so most of our boot camps are postponed, or all of our boot camps are postponed. And then our main mentoring program was also about approaching women. So that is also like kind of on hold. Like our students are in there still kind of like, they're like in limbo until we can go out and meet people again. So we've had to shift. So it's been an interesting month or two.
But you still have things people can sign up for, right?
Well, so here's the thing. So we have other products and stuff, but our main focus was this high-end mentoring program. And then the back end funnel to that. That was our main thing. And since we lost that like high-end mentoring program, and that was all around approaching women, we took a significant hit in revenue. So, but it's been exciting because it's like, okay, we just have to shift. So we have 2 programs that we're working on that I'm really excited about. One of them is an emotional mastery course. So, a lot of guys,
so cool.
They need help, the core guys want help with confidence and just, managing their emotions. And it's a very necessary skill for guys to know. So we have 2 of our coaches, David and Julian, who are bottom lining that. And they're creating this course, and we're selling that. And then And then another thing too is that, so with this, a lot of our students were asking Lynn, one of our dating coaches, a female dating coach, or she's female, but she's, a dating coach. And a lot of our students were reaching out to her asking for online dating advice, which is something we don't normally do, but it's not like our coaches don't know how to do it. We just apply the same principles to online dating. So now we're coming out with an online dating profile makeover. So we're gonna do that.
Nice.
So we'll be offering that. So yeah, it'll be exciting. But the coronavirus, it's been kind of good in several ways. Yeah, we did take a significant hit in revenue, but it's allowed us to really think about operations, help us lean down a little bit, and then position ourselves to come out of this like ahead. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about where we're headed. It'll be good. It's been exciting just like going out and creating stuff. Like for me, I'm the entrepreneur that's like that likes to like I like to create stuff. When it gets just like boring operational kind of things, then I'm probably gonna find someone just to step in and manage everything. But I like to create. So it's like, oh, we're back to creating some stuff. Let's do this. It's just like, oh, shit broke. All right, let's go back. Let's go create some things. So I've been working like all day long. Well, days and I'll work all day long, just getting stuff out there. And after this call, we're gonna launch the online dating program. So,
yeah. So we'll share the link in this, and then on the YouTube video. What's this thing about you getting in a freezer like every day?
Oh yeah, it's like twice a day now. Oh man,
damn.
I know, it's so so cold plunges. If you want the whole story, we can get deep on that. So so I've been doing cold plunges I've been doing them on and off, and I'm doing a 30-day challenge. The reason is because over this last year I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety. So I was diagnosed with PTSD, and just had a ton of anxiety, and just in different situations, social situations, but just like random situations just like pop up, and it was just something that I've never ever like experienced. And I've I've done a lot of work on myself, so I was like, man, what's going on here? So I was I have access to some pretty top level coaches in our company and in other companies. So I was looking for some stuff, and I've always known about the cold showers, and I meditate every day, and I just do stuff like that. But there's something about the cold, like ice baths or cold plunges, that it's just really it's probably the only thing that's really just helped me get to a baseline. And so what it does is it resets your autonomic nervous system, and it boosts serotonin. It just helps you just be more relaxed. It is so great. It's almost like a drug now for me, because and I've only been doing it consistently for I've been doing it for 7 days. So I stopped for a little bit. I stopped for a little bit because I got sick. I think I had the coronavirus. So I stopped for a little bit, and then I was doing it again, but then I stopped again because I was like, you know what, let me actually track my results. So I got a heart rate monitor. And so I've been tracking that. I'm actually getting my friend, who's my roommate, he actually has a brain scanner. He just got a $14,000 brain scanner. Wow. So I actually need to talk to him about that. But I wanted to hook me up and to see my brain before the 30 days. It's not before 30 days anymore, but the beginning, and then after I've done ice baths consistently, twice a day for a long period of time. Because it just shifts things. And what I see that ice baths doing, what they do is they help. They reset your autonomic nervous system, so you can get to they help reset your baseline and increase your overall just state of being, your base level state. They increase that, so that you can change patterns regularly, right? So if you see yourself if you're in a slump or you're feeling depressed, take a 2-minute ice bath, and there's no way you're not coming out of that differently. Wow. It's good. So, I'm 7 days into this. I want to do it consecutively for 30 days and track my results and see okay, what's really happening with my heart rate variability, Because what happens with ice baths is supposed to reduce your stress response. So just overall, just help you manage stress a lot, or make you less reactive to stress. So yeah, that's what the cold plunge is.
A freezer in your backyard.
A freezer. There's a deep freezer in my backyard. My neighbors probably wonder what I'm doing. Like like twice a day, I'll just go out there, in the backyard, hop in the freezer, stay in there for 2 minutes, and then.
But you don't shut the lid, right?
No.
Keep it. That'd be pretty.
That'd be freaky if I shut the lid. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that'd be freaky. Yeah, when this thing blows over, you can come and try an ice bath or a cold plunge.
I did. I don't know if this counts. I did. What is it? Barton Springs for like a month every morning at 6 a.m. And it was a total game changer. Like I was eating healthier. I had more focus in the day. I had more energy for the whole day. It would be 9 p.m. and I wouldn't be tired. I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone. So if I didn't have so much hair, I could do it all the time, every day. But
yeah, the hair makes it. Barton Springs makes a difference. Like the only thing is Barton Springs, it's like 67 degrees, I believe.
I think 64 or something. 60.
Oh, 64. And then the one in my backyard is right now it's like 37.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a difference. I'm gonna get it lower. I'm gonna try to get it I'm gonna get it below freezing because there's a pump in there that circulates the water.
Oh, nice.
So that it doesn't freeze. So it'll probably at some point I'm working my way down to below freezing. And yeah, but it's good. But yeah, Barton Springs, you can feel a difference for sure.
Well, I guess that's pretty much all I have. Is there anything else you want to let our audience or viewers know before we sign off?
No, I just hope everyone's doing well and safe. And if you're feeling down, go do an ice bath or a cold shower.
Yeah, and if you know anyone with, how did you put it? Approach anxiety.
Approach anxiety.
Yes, any man that you know, redirect them to The Attractive Man.
Yeah.
Solid company. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful night, and thank you everyone for watching. And if you're watching this replay, feel free to still post your questions, comments, and we will respond. So have a great night.
Cool. All right. Cheers.